In 2023, a Kentucky farmer was walking through his cornfield when something caught his eye, a glint of gold in the dirt. When he bent down and pulled the first coin from the earth, he had no idea what was about to happen. Within the next hour, he would unearth over 800 Civil War-era gold coins worth more than $3 million. But this discovery would do more than make him wealthy. It would reignite one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. What happened to the millions of dollars in Confederate gold that vanished in April 1865? And more importantly, how much of it is still buried beneath American soil, waiting to be found? April 2nd, 1865. Richmond, Virginia. Confederate President Jefferson Davis sits in his pew at St. Paul's Episcopal Church when a messenger arrives with an urgent note from General Robert E. Lee. The message is brief but devastating. Richmond must be evacuated immediately. The Confederate capital is about to fall. What happens next will spawn legends that persist to this day. Davis has until 8 p.m. to load the Confederate treasury onto 2 trains bound for Danville. The first train carries Davis, his cabinet, and the most important documents of the Confederacy. But it's the second train that will become the stuff of legends. Under the command of Navy Captain William H. Parker, this special cargo train holds the remaining wealth of the Confederate States of America. The inventory is staggering. According to historical records, the treasure includes $327,022 in gold and silver coins. There are gold ingots, gold double eagle coins, silver bricks, and Mexican silver dollars. But that is not all. The train also carries $450,000 in additional funds from Richmond banks, along with donated jewelry from Southern women, bullion, and even floor sweepings from the Dahlonega Mint in Georgia. To guard this fortune, Captain Parker can only assemble a ragtag group of young naval midshipmen from a training ship on the James River. Some of these guards are only 12 years old. These children are being asked to protect what amounts to over $10 million in today's money. The 2 trains depart Richmond at midnight. As they roll into the darkness, fleeing the advancing Union Army, nobody aboard realizes they are about to create one of American history's greatest treasure mysteries. Secretary of the Treasury, George Trenholm, oversees the loading of the treasure. He replaced Christopher Memminger just months earlier, inheriting a Confederate economy in complete collapse. But Trenholm understands something crucial. This gold and silver represents more than money. It represents hope. Hope that the Confederacy might survive, soldiers can be paid, and somehow the South might rise again. Here's what makes this story so compelling. By the time Jefferson Davis was captured on May 10, 1865, near Irwinville, Georgia, he had almost nothing on him, just a few dollars. The question that has haunted historians for 160 years is simple yet profound. Where did all that treasure go? The journey. The treasure train's journey south becomes increasingly chaotic. When the tracks end at Danville, Virginia, the gold and silver must be transferred to wagons. Davis and his cabinet continue south on horseback, but Captain Parker and his young guards face a different challenge. They must move tons of precious metal through hostile territory. Parker receives intelligence that Union cavalry is closing in. He makes a desperate decision. The wagons zigzag back and forth across the state line between South Carolina and Georgia, constantly evading capture. The young guards, exhausted and terrified, struggle to keep the treasure secure as they move through the war-torn countryside. The conditions are brutal. Spring rains turn roads into muddy quagmires. The wagons, already overloaded with the weight of gold and silver, sink axle-deep in the muck. Confederate deserters and Union scouts patrol the area. Every creek crossing, every forest path, every small town presents a potential ambush point. Parker must make split-second decisions about which routes to take, which locals to trust, and where to hide the treasure when danger approaches. Among the cargo are 50 kegs of Spanish silver reales, the legendary pieces of 8 from pirate lore. Each keg contains 4,000 coins, valued at slightly less than $1 each. That's almost $200,000 in Spanish silver alone. 2 of these kegs are opened in Danville for expenses. The rest continue south, growing heavier with each mile. But something remarkable happens during this journey. The Confederate treasury begins to disappear. Not all at once, but piece by piece, like a slow hemorrhage. On April 17, 1865, the treasure reached Washington, Georgia. Davis orders portions of the gold to be distributed. General Joseph E. Johnston receives funds to pay his troops in Greensboro, North Carolina. Several banks take custody of portions for safekeeping. Davis pays off Joseph Wheeler's cavalry before dismissing them from service. Under an elm tree near Washington, Georgia, a trusted naval officer named James A. Semple receives $86,000 in gold coin and bullion. His orders are explicit: conceal it in the false bottom of a carriage and take it to Charleston or Savannah. Semple never reaches his destination. Both he and the money disappear into private hands. To this day, nobody knows what happened to James Semple's portion of the Confederate treasury. Historical records suggest Semple may have used the funds to finance a romantic relationship with Julia Gardner Tyler, widow of President John Tyler. Other accounts claim he attempted to provoke a war between Britain and the United States. But these are theories. The truth died with Semple. By early May, the official Confederate treasury had been reduced to a fraction of its original value. But the Richmond bank funds, that separate $450,000, remain mostly intact. And this is where our story takes its most dramatic turn. On May 24, 1865, 3 weeks after the war's end, bank officials in Washington, Georgia make a fateful decision. They secure permission from U.S. Army Captain Lot Abraham to secretly transport the Richmond bank funds back to Virginia. 5 wagons are loaded with approximately $250,000 in gold and silver coins. A small Union escort of just 7 men, 2 sergeants and 5 privates from the 4th Iowa Cavalry, agree to guard the shipment. The wagon train makes 18 miles on the first day. As night falls, they stop for rest near the Chenault Plantation in Lincoln County, Georgia, just 3 miles from the Savannah River. The horses are turned loose in a Methodist minister's lot. The exhausted guards settle in for the night. What happens next will become the most enduring legend of Confederate gold. Around midnight, about 20 armed men emerge from the darkness. They claim to be Federal cavalry from Tennessee regiments. But witnesses later identify them as Confederate veterans from General John Vaughan's brigade. These are men who have not been paid in months and who believe they are reclaiming what rightfully belongs to the Confederacy. The robbery is swift and overwhelming. The guards are overpowered. When the raiders break open the wagon cargo, they cannot believe what they find. Coins spill ankle-deep across the ground. Gold and silver cascade like a metallic waterfall. The bandits wade through the treasure, filling bags, pockets, and saddlebags. Witnesses report seeing them load coins into all kinds of bags and sacks before riding away into the night. But the money is so heavy that the raiders cannot carry it all. They begin hiding portions throughout Lincoln and Wilkes counties. Coins are buried under trees, dropped into ponds, hidden in gullies, and concealed in caves. The plan is simple: wait for the chaos to settle, then return to reclaim their shares. Many never get that chance. Confederate Brigadier General Edward Porter Alexander, hearing news of the raid, immediately rounds up former members of a Washington artillery battery. They pursue the raiders and manage to seize approximately $110,000 from those who remained in the area. Federal soldiers also launch a recovery operation, pillaging homes and farms throughout the region in search of the stolen gold. But despite these efforts, most of the Virginia bank funds were never recovered. Mary Ann Chenole, daughter of the Methodist minister on whose property the robbery occurred, later stated that the Yankees got a good deal of it, but there were oceans more of it scattered all over Wilkes and Lincoln counties, besides what was carried off. In 1893, nearly 30 years after the robbery, the US Court of Claims finally settled the case. Claimants representing the defunct Richmond banks received just $16,987, a small fraction of what was stolen. The government kept another $78,276. The rest was gone, vanished into the Georgia countryside. And this is just one portion of the missing Confederate gold. Remember that $86,000 that disappeared with James Semple? It was never found. The funds distributed to various Confederate generals and soldiers were scattered to the winds. The gold that General P.G.T. Beauregard seized from the Iron Bank in Columbus, Georgia in 1862 remains unaccounted for. According to his biography, what became of that coin is a mystery. Historians estimate that between $500,000 and $2 million in gold and silver from the Confederate treasury remain unaccounted for. Adjusted for modern gold prices and numismatic value, we are talking about tens of millions of dollars in today's money. For 160 years, this missing fortune has attracted treasure hunters, con artists, archaeologists, and dreamers. Some claim the Knights of the Golden Circle, a secretive Confederate organization, buried caches throughout the South to fund a second uprising. Others believe individual soldiers and citizens simply kept what they found and took the secret to their graves. The legends proliferate. Every few years, someone claims to have found a clue. Metal detectorists scour Georgia fields. Historians pore over old letters and diaries. Treasure hunting companies spend millions on equipment and research. But until recently, most of these searches came up empty. Let's return to that Kentucky cornfield in 2023. The farmer, who has chosen to remain anonymous, initially finds a single 1856 seated Liberty half-dollar about 20 to 30 feet from where the main cache lies buried. It is an exciting find, but nothing extraordinary. He continues his search. Then he sees it. The unmistakable glint of gold. A thick, reeded edge protruding from the dirt. When I pulled the coin from the ground, he later tells Kentucky Life, I was astonished when I realized I was holding a $20 double eagle from the 1860s. He begins digging. And what happens next, in his own words, is things that only happen in dreams. After I flipped the first clump of dirt over the next 45 minutes to an hour, the coins kept coming. I knew it was hundreds. The farmer records a video at the moment of discovery. His breathing is rapid, excited, almost panicked. This is the most insane thing ever, he says, as the camera pans across dozens of dirt-encrusted gold coins. Those are all $1 gold coins, $20 gold coins, $10 gold coins. And look, I'm still digging them out. The final tally is staggering. Over 800 Civil War-era coins. More than 700 of them are pure gold. The cache includes Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3 gold dollar variants dated from 1854 to 1862. There are 20 Liberty Head Eagles worth $10 each, dated 1840 to 1862. 8 Liberty Head Double Eagles worth $20 each. This hoard is extraordinary, but the crown jewels of the hoard are 18 Double Eagles dated 1863, minted in Philadelphia, some of the rarest coins in American numismatics. The farmer wisely contacts Jeff Garrett, one of America's leading coin experts. Garrett examines just 6 of the Double Eagles and a few other coins. When the farmer reveals he has 12 more Double Eagles dated 1863 at home, along with several hundred additional gold coins, Garrett realizes he is looking at one of the most significant numismatic discoveries in American history. Finding one mint condition, Double Eagle dated 1863 would be an important numismatic event, Garrett later states. Finding nearly a roll of superb examples is hard to comprehend. The coins are transported to the Numismatic Guarantee Company in Sarasota, Florida, where experts led by Mark Salzberg and Dave Kamaya begin the painstaking process of authentication, cleaning, and grading. The authentication process reveals fascinating details. Many coins retain their original mint luster, despite being buried for 160 years. The soil conditions in Kentucky, specific pH levels, moisture content, and mineral composition, created a near-perfect preservation environment. Some coins look as though they were minted yesterday. The coins, discovered in the ground and remarkably well preserved, possess an astonishing luster and a newfound freshness rarely observed in coins of this kind, Salzburg reports. Ryan McNutt, a conflict archaeologist from Georgia Southern University, offers a compelling theory about the hoard's origins. Based on the dating, the latest coins are from 1863, and he believes the cache was buried just before Confederate General John Hunt Morgan's raid through Kentucky in June and July 1863. This was a dangerous time in Kentucky. Despite the state's declared neutrality, both Union and Confederate forces regularly moved through the region. McNutt explains that, given the time period and the location in Kentucky, it is entirely possible this cache was buried in advance of Morgan's raid. The fact that these are federal gold coins, not Confederate currency, suggests the owner may have been hiding wealth earned through dealings with the US government, dealings that would need to be concealed from approaching Confederate troops. Kentucky's position during the Civil War created unique circumstances. The state officially remained neutral, but brother fought against brother, neighbor against neighbor. Wealthy Kentuckians faced threats from both sides. A Union supporter risked Confederate raids. A Confederate sympathizer feared federal confiscation. Burying one's wealth became common practice. The estimated value of the Great Kentucky Hoard exceeds $3 million. Individual 1863 $20 Liberty coins from the Hoard are being offered for sale at over $100,000 each. But perhaps more valuable than the money is what the discovery proves. Confederate-era gold is still out there, buried beneath American soil, waiting to be found. And the Great Kentucky Hoard is not an isolated case. In Pennsylvania, a father and son team from Finders Keepers LLC say they located a cache of Civil War-era gold bars in Dent's Run, estimated to be worth up to $500 million. They conducted extensive testing that showed anomalies consistent with a large gold deposit. In 2018, the FBI carried out a secretive overnight excavation at the site. The agency says it found nothing. The treasure hunters, however, have trail camera evidence showing FBI agents videotaping the dig, footage the agency initially acknowledged existed and then later said was lost or destroyed. The case has spawned lawsuits, conspiracy theories, and ongoing investigations. Did the FBI secretly recover $500 million in Civil War gold? Or is Dent's Run just another dead end in the endless search? In Ohio, treasure hunters believe they have decoded symbols carved into trees by the Knights of the Golden Circle, leading them to buried Confederate caches. These mysterious carvings, turtles, arrows, hearts, and strange geometric patterns allegedly form maps to hidden treasure. Some of these trees are over 150 years old, their bark still bearing the marks of Confederate operatives. In Georgia, metal detectorists still search the fields around the Chenault plantation, where residents claim gold coins continue to surface along dirt roads after heavy rains. Local legend holds that thousands of dollars remain scattered throughout the woods and fields, buried in haste by Confederate raiders who never returned. The legends persist because the mathematics are simple. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in Confederate gold and silver disappeared in April and May 1865. Some was spent, some was recovered, but a substantial amount simply vanished. And unlike pirate treasure or lost mines, we know this gold really existed. We have documentation, we have eyewitness accounts, we have receipts and ledgers and official records. What we do not have is the gold itself. What is still out there? The Great Kentucky Hoard proves that Civil War treasure discoveries are not just legends. Real caches remain hidden, waiting for someone with a metal detector and a bit of luck to unearth them. But these discoveries also reveal something profound about American history. The chaos of the Civil War's final days created perfect conditions for wealth to disappear. soldiers who buried their pay and died in battle, families who hid valuables from raiders and forgot exact locations, Confederate officials who diverted funds and took secrets to their graves. Historians estimate that beyond the Confederate treasury, individual citizens buried countless personal hoards throughout the South. Countless. How much more is still out there? Nobody knows. But consider this. The Great Kentucky Hoard was found by accident by a farmer looking for Native American artifacts. He was not even searching for gold when he made the discovery. The coins lay just inches beneath the surface of a cornfield that had been farmed for over a century. Plows had passed over that spot thousands of times, missing the fortune by mere inches. What other caches lie just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment, the right storm, the right curious person, with a metal detector? The Confederate gold mystery endures because it taps into something fundamental in the American psyche. The dream that fortune might be hiding in your own backyard. The hope that history's lost treasures can still be found. The possibility that one day, you might be the person who bends down, pulls a coin from the dirt, and realizes your life has changed forever. The search for Confederate gold continues. And somewhere beneath American soil, millions of dollars in coins, bars, and bullion wait in the darkness, silent witnesses to one of history's greatest mysteries. Millions. Remember, the Great Kentucky Hoard was not found by professional treasure hunters with expensive equipment. It was found by an ordinary person walking through a field. If you found a cache of Civil War gold on your property, would you keep it secret like the Kentucky farmer, or would you immediately announce your discovery? Tell me in the comments below. But finding treasure does not always lead to a happy ending. After World War II, one man stumbled upon a fortune in gold that made the Confederate treasury look tiny. What happened to him next was not a visit from the FBI or a celebration with historians. It was far, far worse. And the person who did it to him was supposed to be on his side. That story, next.